Coach Stephanie White of the Indiana Fever goes on the Good Follow podcast and talks about Caitlin Clark's development.
The moment the WNBA realized it had a problem was the moment Caitlin Clark walked back into the gym. No cameras, no hype tracks, just rubber soles squeaking and iron clanging. Something in that sound said danger. The league's most electric rookie had decided good was an insult. While the rest of the basketball world scrolled highlight reels, she was preparing a quiet takeover, and Coach Stephanie White was the architect with the blueprints spread out on the hardwood.
What aspects of her game would you like to work with her on for this season?
Yeah, I mean, certainly getting stronger was one. The level of physicality in the W is totally different. That's the way that teams have to try to keep her off balance, keeping a low center of gravity. There are times where she plays a little bit upright, making sure core strength and her ability to move with time under tension and stay in a low center of gravity is important. Lateral movement, like one of the challenges that we're coming to her with right away is on the defensive end of the floor.
Synergy recorded Clark's right-handed batting at a frequency just over 50% in her last 10 rookie games. White's training camp has flipped the scenario. Preseason workouts show a 60-40% right-left split, a massive shift that overturns the old scouting report. White knows blueprints. She's designed dynasties before: college banners, pro rings, coach of the year plaques. She doesn't tweak, she rebuilds. So when she looked at Clark's rookie tape, she saw two things: brilliance and predictability. In the WNBA, those words can never live in the same sentence. Every defender had studied the scouting report. Force her right, funnel her into traffic, bait the left-hand step back. It worked just enough to turn fireworks into sparks by season's end. Last season, help side nail defenders shaded Clark's dominant hand on 72% of half-court possessions. After the off-season retool, that shade rate in preseason plummeted to 38%. Defenders simply don't know which hand to load up on anymore. White's first order of business was to torch that scouting report.
I think from just a straight basketball perspective, making sure that we help her diversify, her finishing ability, diversify in the way that it's not predictable.
She stripped Clark's habits to the studs: stance, foot angle, release point, even the way she inhaled before a drive. "If defenders can finish my sentences," she told Clark, "we rewrite the language." The goal wasn't flash, it was invisibility, moves without tells, intentions without telegraphs. New pivots replaced scripted jukes, off-ball cuts replaced stationary hero shots, and a left-handed floater started sneaking into every drill until it felt as natural as breathing. But there was another problem. WNBA lanes feel like rush hour traffic, and rookie muscle rarely wins bumper car collisions. Clark's answer arrived as a viral photo that had half the internet crying AI. Those shoulders looked painted on.
We already know that Caitlin has put on some strength and muscle. She had that viral picture.
Yeah, you saw that, yeah. I asked her if it was Photoshop.
She said it was AI.
They weren't. They were forged during 5 a.m. deadlifts and late-night sled pushes while playlists nobody heard rattled an empty practice facility. White grinned at the accusations. "If people think it's fake," she said, "imagine how they'll feel when it's dropping 25 on their heads." Force plate tests show that Clark's peak lower body power has increased from 4,900 watts to 5,450 watts, an increase of more than 10% that now allows her to finish with chest-to-chest contact and still maintain a 46-degree launch angle on the step back. Strength alone isn't scary. Predictable strength is just heavier baggage. But Clark's new power came with balance work that lowered her center of gravity and let her absorb contact instead of dodging it. Push her now, and she doesn't flinch. She counters. Her step back no longer floats backward off one leg. It anchors, carves space, fires on a stable base. Post defenders who once bumped her off the block find themselves ricocheting instead.
Great to hear, because everybody knows. The thing with Caitlin that made her so good was that everyone knows what she's doing and they can't stop it. If she's going left, she wants to shoot the step back. If she goes right, she wants to go to the basket. And yes, there are times that she can kind of fade away a bit over the right shoulder, or she can make a kind of move going right and slow down, speed up. She's very, very good, quick first step, and runs so well in transition.
White calls the transformation phase 1, but phase 2 is where the league starts losing sleep. It begins with a single dribble to the left. Last season, that dribble felt like a favor to the defense. Everyone knew she wanted to come back right or lift into a lefty fade. Now that dribble is a decoy. She'll snake behind her screen, switch hands mid-euro, and finish off glass before the help rotates. Next possession? Same start, different ending. Cross-court skip to a corner shooter because a rotating defense leaves someone naked on the arc.
To be able to have different types of finishing looks, whether it's, crossbody finishes, whether it's floaters at the rim, whether it's quick floaters, long floaters, Euros.
Euro step attempts. From 0.3 per game as a rookie to 2.1 per scrimmage this camp, converting at 68%. Left-hand finishes at the rim up from 22% to 47% of attempts. The cheat code, force her left, is officially deleted. Yet the most important upgrade doesn't involve the ball at all. White stole a page from Golden State's Chaos Manual, Clark the Screener. The idea is cruel. When your best shooter sets the pick, defenders must choose between Doom A and Doom B. Switch, and a slower big is stranded on an island. Hedge, and the roll man dunks uncontested. Meanwhile, Clark drifts to the weak side, lungs filling with fresh oxygen for the fourth quarter. Eyes tracking angles like a chess engine calculating 15 moves out. She's working less to hurt you more. Indiana ran Clark as screener actions 18 times in 2 preseason games, yielding 1.41 points per possession. Top-tier Curry-level efficiency that also cut her average fourth-quarter movement speed drop-off from 0.47 miles per hour to just 0.15 miles per hour. White's staff clocked Clark's fourth-quarter shooting last year. Numbers dipped as legs faded. The new system is a built-in energy bank. Off-ball Clark travels an extra mile per game, but they're economical miles. Short bursts, cunning pauses, screen rescreens that force defenders to chase while she jogs. Fatigue shifts from her shoulders to theirs. What unlocks everything is the perfectionist chip lodged in Clark's DNA. White tells a story. First practice of camp, they demand a left-hand-only finishing series. Clark misses 2 in a row, mutters something under her breath, then makes 43 straight. Day 2, they layer contact pads and time under tension resistance bands. She still strings 29 in a row. White shrugs. She treats drills like vendettas. During controlled left-only drills, Clark's make rate hit 93%. But more importantly, her release time under heavy contests dipped below 0.55 seconds. Elite guard territory that widens shooting windows against switch-heavy defenses. White worries about one thing: legacy windows close fast. So she builds redundancies. She installs a short roll package that turns Clark into a facilitator at the nail. Think Jokic angles compressed into guard size. She experiments with inverted pick and rolls where Clark screens, pops, relocates, rescreens. She adds decoy zipper cuts that end in flare screens Clark never touched but orchestrated. By mid-season, she wants analysts saying, "We can't even track her usage. Every play feels like she's everywhere." Preseason tracking already shows Clark grading excellent in 4 synergy categories: transition 1.28 PPP, P&R handler 1.05, off-screen 1.22, spot-up 1.34. Very few WNBA guards clear 1.10 in more than 2.
We've got like a short-term kind of list and we got a long-term kind of list, but Caitlin, I remember from the very first day when we were working on balance and we were working on footwork and we were looking at all those things, from day 1 to day 2, she had it.
Wow.
Like she's a perfectionist and she wants it and she's going to work on it. So that long list might get shorter every day we're in practice.
Coaches feed her complex defensive rotations on film. Next practice, she's shouting switches before they happen. They challenge her with advanced reads. 2 defenders at the level, weak side stunt. She answers with a left-hand live dribble hook pass to the dunker spot. Rookie mistakes dissolve like chalk in rain. So picture opening night. Defenders load up right, she goes left. They collapse on drives, she lobs backside. They chase over screens, she slips, catches, fires from 30 feet. They trap early. She spins into a euro, angles the glass, and jogs back before the net settles. Every adjustment breeds a counter. Every counter spawns a mystery. That's not a highlight reel. That's erosion. 40 minutes of footwork and calculus wearing down the cliff until only C remains. In the final tune-up game, Clark scored or assisted on 46% of Fever possessions, yet posted a usage rate under 29%. Evidence the off-ball scheme is letting her dominate without overtaxing. And here's the final twist. White calls a timeout with 52 seconds left, game tied. Cameras zoom on Clark, but instead of exhaustion, her chest rises calm, shoulders squared. Because the energy reserve is intact. Because off-ball motion is a battery that recharges every possession. White draws a play with 3 branching options. Defenders gamble on the tape they watched last year. They lose. Clark's dagger doesn't even ripple the net. She backpedals, no roar, just a small nod that says the blueprint is working. If you can already smell the smoke from those future fireworks, drop a "fired up for CC" in the comments and buckle in. The league thought last season was the show. That was only the trailer. Caitlin Clark 2.0 premieres soon, and every arena is a theater with no exits.